All right, hey VC, it's that time that I've talked about. My focus list for 2025. An idea I'm going to continue running with for the third year. The first year I did it was 2023 for 23 wants. I got about 50% over that. I think I got out of the 23 like 13 or 14. And the idea there was to get maybe like less than 100 records in the year. I really wanted to focus to these really specific targets with the addition of some other things to keep my buying at a minimum. I failed that miserably, as I basically predicted. So the idea of doing this was to keep buying down, which it didn't really. But then it just became fun to sort of like really go after specific records. Last year, I didn't put a cap on how many records I think I'd buy, but I continued with 2024 and 24 wants for 24, and I just did that video. I'll link to both of those videos, the recaps of the years. I figured it's fun to let everyone know about what records I'm specifically hunting for, so I'm doing it again, 25 wants for 2025. There's other records that are not being shown or I'm telling you about that I'm looking for, and these are the ones that I think are somewhat gettable, although I think this list this year, it's mainly going to be really hard to get. So I don't expect to have as much a success rate. Plus, I truly am working on a bunch of other things where my funds have to get dedicated to. So don't know how well I'll do on all these records this year, but it'll be fun to try to get a few. Some of them are definitely attainable. Some I certainly won't, just because they won't even turn up. But so yeah, these are all records I've mainly added to my want list. That's the one thing about this year's list. They're mainly newer records added to my want list within the last year or two. So in some ways, I don't even know these that well, but I know I want them. I've refined this list. I've listened to all these records to make sure I really want them. And I do. Definitely. They're all really excellent. And the other thing about this list is it doesn't include any of the reissues that I've sold that I intend to replace with originals. So that's a separate list that I have on my own sort of private. I'll link to this list. I'll make this list public. So these are all records I've never owned before, reissues or not, that I intend to hopefully hunt down in 2025. 25 wants for 2025. We'll see how I do. All right. We're listening to this record I got from Angry Mom in November on CRI, this Lou Harrison. I really like this one. I haven't enjoyed everything I've checked out from him, but this one is certainly one I do. Certainly like a gamelan master. 3 pieces for gamelan with soloists. This is from 1979, or 81 is the year of release. Features the Kronos Quartet on the second side. This was a nice find for like $12, so nice stuff. We'll listen to that. So the first one, and I'll put on either side of me images for the covers. Moondog, a new sound of an old instrument. I've been buying up Moondog, and I intend to do a Moondog video this year, but those late 70s European records I never see here, and this is the one I want the most. The Heart Songs is good. There's a reissue of that. Don't know if I'll spring for that one. That one's a little more expensive. A New Sound of an Old Instrument is on the Kopf label from 1979, and it's a median of about $100, so should be gettable, but most likely I'll have to buy this in Europe, hopefully see it turn up here. But it's from 1979. It's all more pieces for percussion and ensembles by Moondog, sort of towards the end of his career, although he still had the 80s that he was working in Europe. So, and by the way, these are in no particular order, genre-wise or ranking or anything. Number 2, Bayard Lancaster. Definitely want to focus in on some Bayard Lancaster this year. I've certainly always done that, but Personal Testimony Volume 1 is all solo, one of those overdub records that I've talked about I love so much, where he does everything. And there's no reissues of this. I know Dave, he first kind of put this on my radar, and I saw it at WFMU, but I spaced on going back for it. It's from 1980 on the Concert Artists label. Electronic, left field, space age, free improvisation, experimental jazz. It gives you a little bit of everything. But it is all Bayard on everything. There is a CD reissue of this, but that's it. So hopefully we can get that. High price on that. Highest it's ever sold for was $178, so should be gettable, but I haven't seen a copy turn up in quite a bit, so I'm looking for that one. Number 3, Satwa, a Brazilian record. I have a bunch of Brazilian on here. Lula Cortez and Leison, 1973. This one's rare. Maybe not as rare as Paibiru, but Equally beautiful, a little more on the folk side, but certainly still sort of far out psychedelic. It's on the Rosenblit label. There are no other pressings of it. There is a Time Lag reissue and a Mr. Bongo reissue, but obviously I'm looking for this original. I really love Lula Cortez. Hopefully I can find anything else he's involved with. So hopefully I can get that Brazilian record. And there's a few Brazilian records on this list. Number 4, I have a bunch of French jazz avant-garde, of course. Jean Cohen Solal, Captain Tarthopalm. Really love this one. A little bit of prog, a little bit of avant-garde, a little bit of electronic experimental. It's on the Connection label. I don't really know this label. From 1973, French pressing. It's a label for underground and non-mainstream music. Only about 20 releases on the label, so pretty small label. But this one, I love the approach. I love the sort of like chameleon-esque aspect to it. Cohen Solal, obviously brother of Marshall Solal, right? Or is there another Solal? No, he's the brother of Robert Cohen Solal. Marshall Solal, who died at the end of last year. The pianist is, I guess, not related. Some help me out. It's not deep. But this one is really interesting. I streamed this one a bunch last year, and I streamed it again a few weeks ago. And really bizarre looking cover, as you're seeing. Immediate on this one's about $90, so should be able to find this one. Again, these first few are somewhat easily attainable, except for that Satwa, that Lula Cortez, but all French players on it. Looking forward to hopefully finding that one. All right. What is it? Number 5 is Marshall Solal, Locomotion, his jazz funk record. This one I probably won't find. Rather expensive. It's on the PSI label, 1974, French pressing. Solal's electric piano. Texier's on this. Bernard Lubat. Philip Adler. Small Quartet, I believe it is. Cool cover, but there are, does this say Finders Keepers reissue? No. Underdog, French reissues from 2002 and 2020. I've not seen this record reissue or not, but in digging into Solal, I sort of came across this one, and this one really appealed to me. It's kind of a library record, kind of jazz funk record. Median price is $285, high price $510. Yeah, these are hopefully fair finds when I have a budget to spend. Here's one I can't even listen to. I didn't dig too deep to try to find this, but there are no reissues of it. Does any of you guys have this out there, you avant-garders? The self-titled new music ensemble from 1964. An avant-garde experimental record with the stock cover, as you're seeing, similar to what Beck used. Includes Richard Swift, Stanley Lunetta. John Gibson is on this, on soprano, sax, flute, clarinet. And there's 2 new music ensemble records. I'd really be interested in either from 64 and 65, both on the NME label, New Music Ensemble. Only releases, private presses. There's no music up online. I didn't, maybe I have to dig a little harder, but I didn't see anything. So I'm looking for that. Maybe someone else has it, or maybe someone else can help me find it. Number 7, another Brazilian record, Hugo Filho, Paraibo. This one is gettable. There's actually a copy in the US right now, maybe a little off condition, but it's from 1978, a folk psychedelic record. Really love this one. At WFMU, Mr. Bongo, that dealer, he had it, and I looked at it, and then I just I focused on the other records I was getting, like the Tom Zay. But if I would have properly thought it out, I might have made the deal then for this one too, because this one is a little tough. About a $200 median price, and there is a couple of copies around that price right now. It's from 1978, Brazilian press on the HP label. The HP label, just a few releases on it. Basically a small private press. Really cool artwork. Here's one I've been looking for a long time. I've just never talked about it. It's on the Dome label. Of course, Bruce Gilbert, Graham Lewis of Wire, Michael OShea, self-titled album. There are reissues of this one, but I've been really sort of quietly looking for the UK press from 1982. It is gettable, another one. There's copies up, about $135 median record, and it's just a really interesting Irish experimental album. He plays, is it hurdy-gurdy or accordion? I'm forgetting what he plays. Or is it lap steel? It's lap steel, right? I think so. But it's a beautiful sound. It's on the Dome label. The Dome label itself didn't release too much. I mean, it's their label. About 15 releases. Desmond Simmons is also on here. AC Marias is where I believe that's Wire related. And then it's Dome Records, other than Desmond Simmons. So, I don't know Desmond Simmons. Alone on Penguin Island from 1981. That's one I'll have to look into. Side note. Anyway, Michael OShea. I know you guys know this one. One I've been looking for just quietly, sort of on the side for a couple of years, bunch of years now. Marshall Solal, next on the list. Electrodes with Michel Mang. Marshall Solal joue Michel Mang. Also with Jean-Claude Vanier performing, and Charles Bellonzi on drums. This one, Stunty totally illuminated me to this one. He played it on the Michael 45 stream, and I was hooked as soon as I heard it. 1966 France, really cool cover. Really love the sort of bombastic jazz nature of it. It's about $150 median. Are there any other pressings of it? No. There's the Finders Keepers reissue. That's it. Other than this French pressing on the Ducretet Thompson label, another smaller imprint. I don't even know. No, that's an old label. There's a ton of records on this label, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Founded in 1950. But this is a really excellent modal jazz record. So hopefully can find that one. There's been a copy sitting, same copy on eBay and Discogs I've kind of looked at. It's a VG copy, but I don't know for that price. Anyway, that's on my 2025 list. Okay, up to number 10. This is a cool one on the Strata label out of Detroit. Sphere, Inside Ourselves, a little more of the prog fusion, but still somewhat in the, I guess post-bop. From 1974, about $145 median price. It's definitely one that's trending up, so it's going to cost probably more than that. They're from Detroit, just this one LP. Really dig this one from the proggy fusion side of things. 2019, there was a reissue on the 180 Proof label, and BBE, I guess, as well, did one in 2023. This is a pretty badass group, though. I really enjoyed this one the times I've checked it out. Larry Nozero, Keith Vreeland, John Dana, Jimmy Peluso, Ed Nuccelli. This one is a little newer to me, but one that I'd like to focus in on. Number 11, a dub record. The same song, Dub. The dub version, very specific. Need the dub version. The only way to tell the difference is with this orange sticker that's in the middle of it. It is a fantastic dub album. That's all I can tell you. 1978 on the Top Ranking Sounds label. I think there's just one pressing of this dub version. There's two, actually. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe just a label variation or something. So it's from 1978. Jamaican press, of course. Not a UK. That's Israel Vibration, the same song, dub version. Ahmed Abdul Malik, the Eastern Moves of Ahmed Abdul Malik on Prestige, the last solo or last band-led record I'm looking for from him. 1963. This may be the hardest one to get, and with his records, they're always in rough shape. Recorded by Van Gelder, includes Malik, William Allen on bass percussion, Bilal Abdulrahman is on this, playing reeds, and I just love his music. I love all of his music. I love all of his records, so this is certainly what I want to have. I'm certainly hunting for a few others of his where he's credited or performing on, not band-led. A Swedish pressing, Bjorn Rosengren Med Flera. I really like this one. Improvisationer on the SJR label, 1969. All, I believe, Swedish players. Tommy Koverholt, Mafia Filet, Clay Skoron Fagerstedt, Leif Wennerstrom, and Torbjörn Holtkrantz on the SJR label. It's certainly a post-bop avant-garde label. This label's just got 2 records on it, so this one and one by Staffenhard. So beautiful cover. I've seen copies of this around, just haven't pulled the trigger. Of course, they're in Europe. So number 14, Charles Tyler. I want this Charles Tyler record on Akba. Not as expensive as some of the other Charles Tylers, the ones I have. But, again, one I've just seen in Europe, about a $72 median. Probably going to run you about $100. It's got Steve Reed. Tyler Boykins on this is amazing. Recorded live at the Jazz Festival at Umeå, 1975, Sweden. But this is a U.S. pressing on Tyler's Akba label. I'm trying to complete that label. I probably won't. That Arthur Blythe record, that'll never happen. But this one from 1977 should be gettable, so we shall see. Some more French records. Michel Ro Corus. This is a bizarre one. This one's relatively newer to me, but I love this cover. Contemporary jazz, soul jazz, free jazz, poetry. Yeah, it's got sort of spoken word on it from, I guess it's from Rook, but this is on Sarava, 1972. Also includes, Bitoire. Who is Bitoire is the vocalist. Bachir Touré, Senegalese actor and singer. So he's doing the spoken word, I suppose. Jean-Charles Calpon on cello, drums, Manzacci, and we have bass as well. Caratini's on bass on this one. This one's gonna run anywhere between $100 to $200, I think. So this list is not quite as unreachable as I thought. Some fairly gettable records. I mean, for the sort of anyway. Speed Limit, self-titled album, number 16 on RCA Victor France. This one hasn't turned up lately. Sort of a prog influenced jazz record. Also features Jean-Charles Calpon. You can see where I'm going here. And yeah, a bunch of other players. 1975. Wonderful cover. So we'll see. That's RCA Victor. This one's weird. This one's got bagpipes on it. George Gruntz. This is Jazz Meets World series. Yes, you know the series. The German and French pressings, I think, or Dutch pressings. But this is from 1967, also on the Saba label, Noon in Tunisia. There's bagpipes on this from Jalul Osman, which are interesting. It worked for me. I enjoyed it. We also have Eberhard Weber. You have a bunch of players on the Bendir. Daniel Humer, drummer. A bunch of people, including Gruntz and Sahib Shihab is on this, as well as Jean-Luc Ponty. So big cast, and it's about a $75 record. So it's 1967 free jazzy modal record. We shall see. There's another dub record, The Light of Saba, in reggae. Beautiful dub album. Never see this one. 1976. Hopefully I can find this one. This one might be one of those things where you just will not find it with a nice sleeve. So we shall see on that. The Light of Saba on Total Sounds. Light of Saba is really the Divine Light, I guess. There's not a ton of their records. Sort of a little more obscure. Cedric Brooks is in this. Calvin Bubbles Cameron. So definitely the spiritual sort of Nyabingi sound that happened in the mid-70s Jamaica. Moving along here, 19. This is a psych folk record, a British psych folk record from Aura on the Tangerine label, 1969. This one could run quite a bit, but gettable. It's not one of these 99 copy things, but it feels like it. Now, Aura was led by future Byzantium founder Jamie Rubenstein. I feel like they would turn into someone else, or they used to be a different band. I think it was just Byzantium. They would become Byzantium, but really excellent sort of crude lo-fi psych record. Oh man, really good. 1969. I have some Flying Nun. There's always Flying Nun. There's not even everything that's here is on this list. There's plenty of other Flying Nuns I'm looking for. Looking for the Stones EP, another disc, another $1. I had a shot at buying this at WFMU, but I waited, and then someone bought it from July '83. I'm definitely collecting all the 12-inch 45 RPM records on Flying Nun through the mid-'80s. The Stones is, of course, on the Dunedin Double, and they have this record and a 7-inch, and that's it. So I don't even think that's the same. Yeah, there's a Stone. The 7-inch they list here is by a Stones that is Jamaican. So no, the Stones New Zealand is just they have the Dunedin double EP and this Another Disc, Another Dollar. I love the song Gunner Ho, the first song on this. I should be able to find this. There's no copies available for sale right now, but I should be able to find it. 1983 with those custom labels on the Great Flying Nun label. Just an essential run of records at that time. Goblin Mix. This is similar to the Expanding Budgies, I believe it is. This is a group featuring... it's a one only EP, or did they have two? From 1985 and Flying Nun. Yeah, they had the compilation with the Exploding Budgies, which I have that Exploding Budgies record. There was a cassette that they did that's basically unavailable. So this is their lone 45 RPM EP on Flying Nun. Goblin Mix is David Mitchell, Phil Moore, Andrew Moon, Alf Danielson. So, but this is a cool one. Definitely a little more punky for Flying Nun. 1985. There's plenty of other Flying Nun to find too. All right, number 22 of 25. Trad Gras och Stenar. Yes, there's a bunch of Silence and Swedish related records I want. Many of them I had as reissues, so I'm looking for those two. Pretty obvious which ones I'm looking for. A lot of the big ones that were highlighted in Jonas's Silence video. But this is one that's never been reissued. Rock for Krop Oxtjal. This is from the early 70s as well. This one is on Silence, 1972. Excellent one. Should be gettable. Anywhere from 150 to 250 on that one. Number 23, this Between record I really want. I know Brandon Faust in the Head is looking for this. Maybe he's since found it. I know he talked about getting it at WFMU of 2023. But Between is a really good fusion, jazz-centric, jazz-focused sort of Crut Rock record, band. This is on Vertigo, so that makes it collectible as it is. 1973 German pressing, that's the one I'm after. Of course with Peter Michael Hamel. Hopefully I can find this one. I like to get that Peter Michael Hamel on Vertigo too. Really great cosmic Crut Rock fusion type stuff. 24, the Baroque Jazz Trio, another jazz record from France. And this one of the more expensive ones on this list on the Saraval label. 1970 with Jean-Charles Calpon as well. Daniel Valenciennes. And who's the other performer? Alexandre, whoever that is, and Picombel, whoever that is, French drummer. Pierre Combel, I believe it is, Philippe Combel, French jazz drummer, who passed away actually January of last year. Anyway, this Baroque Jazz Trio is a sick record. I mean, there's a Sauf le Contenu reissue of it. Of course, I want that French pressing. I know Stunty at one point played it on a stream years ago, so certainly after that one. And the last one, there's always Crut Rock on my list. The only one I'll put on this list, there's plenty of other ones I'm looking for, but it's My Solid Ground. This is probably the most expensive record I'm looking for. This is definitely one of the ones I won't find, although there are copies for sale. You just have to shell out for it. 1971, only release this band made on Solid Ground. I'm sorry, My Solid Ground on the Bacillus label. It's mainly led by, let's see, Bernard Randell, Willie Wade, Uli Weyrauch, and just a really good heavy kraut, a little bit of prog, cosmic music, a little hard rock, great cover, great imagery. This one I probably won't get for a decent price, and probably won't get it all, but I figured I'd throw it in there. Number 25. So there it is, 25 wants for 2025, doing it again. One more year, we'll see if we do it again. But that's it, and so far the buying has slowed. Been some really cool pieces I'm looking forward to showing you soon that really could have been on this list, but I've already got them, so I'm looking forward to showing those. Lots of other cool vids in the works. A version of the vinyl tag, something about Discogs. Yeah, more to come. That's it. All right. Everyone be well. See you soon.